Hey everyone, hope you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update of commodities. I'm going to give you my financial opinion. We're going to work our way through the dollar, yields. We're going to go to precious metals and then commodities that I follow. So let's just dive right in and take a look. Again, one last thing too, if you guys need any help with this commodity bull market that we are in, that is progressing, definitely sign up to finding-value.com, become a platinum member, join our community. It's a pretty cool community. Use the word discount in the coupon code for a discount. And again, a reminder, 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, Saturday, for the question and answer session for the platinum members. Let's dive in. We've got the DXY. The DXY is a relative strength indicator. I'll back out real quick, show you guys what's going on. We had a big kind of breakout move there in 2014. We've gone higher, hit our head, and we've been heading lower in the medium term. The short term, we did break this very small falling wedge where we could potentially try to move higher for a little bit with a little bit stronger dollar. Why would we get a stronger dollar? Stronger dollar is usually accompanied by a stronger 10-year, 30-year yields and increasing oil prices. That's what we've seen in the past, and that's kind of what I'm expecting. So that's something I'm looking for. Stronger oil price, stronger yields even, potentially. Looking at the 10-year yield, we're flat today. We've broken out of this falling wedge for potentially a move higher. But again, there are other dynamics that can impact inflation in the short term, which could be driven by stimulus, the stimulus money coming out of the system. And we don't know necessarily where the housing market will, I'll say, kick out of inflation rate at some point, which will hold interest rates at a certain level. Very complex topic to describe as easily as I try to. But 10-year yields flat today. Looking at the bond prices, up slightly, 0.25. We've got the 10-year yield that's basically flat. But we've broken down trend line. Momentum's up at this time for yields, and momentum's down for bond prices. TYX to TNX ratio, basically flat, 0.16. Most likely what we're going to see with a slightly stronger dollar, a flat yield curve. It's just flat. It's not really inverting or normalizing at all. Probably going to see the precious metals market be flat today, if I were to take a guess. The CRB index breaking out of its downtrend here. We are now moving on higher. Again, this is heavily weighted oil. We have a breakout here for the declining wedge, the retest. That's where you want to be purchasing. And then we are moving higher. So the CRB index looks absolutely fantastic. The CRB to S&P 500 looks like it's moving higher. That will continue higher, in my opinion. I think oil is going to continue higher, and everything is looking good for commodities to outperform the overall stock market. Gold, slightly lower today. I think this is nothing more than a bloody nose. Bloody nose is a small profit-taking day next to a large green candlestick where it's a continuation pattern to the upside. Silver's got the same thing, bloody nose, and then platinum also has a bloody nose. Now, platinum, we are on the underside of this trend line, but I still think if the overall precious metals group moves higher, I think platinum will move higher with it, and you could say that this is potentially a bloody nose pattern. XAU to gold ratio, XAU, the gold and silver mining companies, outperforming gold. So I do think that that's good, and we are still on the underside of this big long-term breakout and underside of this where we've got a little bit of resistance. We've got some work cut out ahead of us, but I do think we're going to break out. I do think we'll maybe do a back test or something and then rocket. This will be jet fuel, rocket fuel. This will be a massive move for probably gold and silver miners and royalty companies. So GDX heading higher today, up 1.18%. There we are, and we're still below that resistance level. We still have some work cut out ahead of us. We could still grind sideways for a while as well. That is still in the mix if it wants to. I don't know the future path, but I can say that we're at resistance. Same with SILJ. We're at resistance support. Let me back out and show you guys kind of where we're at in a big picture view. That's that. It's really, I should say, this entire area here that's got some resistance. This area, this area, this area. We got area down here and this area here where we have to basically go back through all that buying and selling pressure of previous history. When you come through those areas, people are like, well, if it ever gets back to mine, I'm going to sell it again. That type of scenario where we have to get back through that area. Crude oil up 2.9%. I know all the recession guys are saying this is going to go to $50. Looks like we've broken the downtrend. This looks like it's ready to move on higher. Very nice, strong closing in crude oil. Looks very good. I would be looking at a lot of the energy service companies and oil companies at this time. Natural gas also heading higher. I do think it's trying to put in a bottom. That's why we're seeing the kind of the highs. They're kind of stabilizing, and the lows are also coming up. So we're squeezing up here. We might have some more consolidation to the side, more consolidation sideways here before we make that move. But I do think that looking at natural gas companies or whatnot at this time is a very smart thing to do. Looking at XOP, yeah, you know me, up 2.54%. We got that little hammer candlestick hammering some stuff out, but that looks pretty good. Maybe this is a double bottom here, and that will potentially move on higher. Crude oil is looking very good. Big picture view, this is what it looks like. It looks like we're kind of squeezing up there in some sort of pattern like that, and eventually we will break to the upside. And oil is looking very supportive of that. OIH, which is energy service companies, is also putting in very small down candlesticks. The sellers can't really push this thing higher at this moment. Buyers are coming in, nice big bullish engulfing yesterday. We had a little bit, I don't know, this candlestick I'm kind of indifferent on. But I think overall it's going to grind higher over time. And we're going to see a big move on a big long-term, big picture that we're going to see this go way higher. So I'm a big bull in energy service companies, exploration production companies of energy, anything. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, switching to uranium. Big picture view, we're still below that long resistance level line. We hit our head on it and bounced back lower. This is where we're at. This does look like the buyers are starting to step in on this side here. If we start to see reduced selling pressure, smaller red candlesticks, and the big green army, I call it the green army, comes out, we start buying up, it's starting to move. I'm going to be jumping on this train in a big way. I'm already jumping in on a lot of stuff. And again, guys, if you need help, sign up to the membership. URNM, I think this was split. So it did a split. You can see the split right here. This thing hasn't adjusted for it yet. But we did have an up day today. I don't know how much, a couple percent, I think. And URNM's looking a lot better. Charting wise, it's a little bit tough since it had the split. Looking at TAN up today, 2.1%. Again, I'm not really a huge solar guy, but this does look like it wants to go higher. Nice little pattern there. COPX up 2.68%. Looking fantastic. Buyers are stepping in. This does look like it wants to go higher. So overall, we had this downward motion. The downward motion was worked off. We had a consolidation dead period right here. That was the buying portion where we put in our bullish candlesticks, bullish engulfing. Then we are starting to move higher. That is the summation of what I look for. I would be a buyer down where these bullish engulfings are. And if we broke the downtrend line, I'd be a buyer here too. So I'd be buying, cost averaging in on that entire bottom there. And now it looks good to move higher. Lithium still putting a little hammer candlestick down here, small little guy. Big picture view, we still have a lot of selling pressure here. This could get dragged down by the overall markets, depending on how the overall markets trade. I know the overall markets were up today, but lithium, I would say, struggling today if the overall markets were up and lithium's down 0.62%. REMX up 0.8%. It looks like it's trying to put in a little bottom here. We'll see if we get some buying pressure and it starts to move on higher. We're at support. Looking at the S&P 500 up 1.5%. Is this kind of just a relief rally where we come on and then move and head lower? I think so. I think interest rates, I think inflation, I think all that stuff is going to be rough on stocks over the next decade. Now, in the short term, yeah, things can move all around, and that's the least reliable. But if you take a bigger picture view, let me back way out, and we zoom in here. This here, I do think will grind sideways to lower over time, and I'm not 100% sure that the overall stock market is going to perform like it used to. If you were to look at some of the other charts, like the PPI to CPI ratio, since 1948, we've basically converted commodities into usable products at a faster pace than money supply growth. If we hit resource constraints, I think this could reverse and commodities be the very good thing to invest in. And the conversion of commodities into products may not be as valuable. So I think that could be a large shift in the markets, but that's a pretty profound statement. And I'll just wait and see how this kind of plays out. And the NASDAQ did the same thing. We were up 1.5%. There it is on the weekly charts. Let's go on the dailies here. There it is. And I do think we could come back up and maybe roll back over, potentially, depending on what interest rates and the dollar does and what oil does. EEM, heading higher. I do think that this is going to work its way on up. Emerging markets are very commodity based, and we are very low down here. I think this is a good spot to be looking for emerging market opportunities. XHB also moving sideways. It's up 1.9%, but moving sideways. We're grinding sideways here, where I think we're going to move higher. I think that when the inflation moves out of the system from the stimulus money and the interest rates go to a more sustainable level for the housing market, I think the housing market's going to kick back on, and I think we're going to have a housing boom. That's what I think. I'm still in that camp because of the demographic. VanEck, agribusiness ETF, just moving sideways over time, slightly higher today, up 1%. Copper, we're right at that resistance line. That resistance line is kind of the last containment area where I think copper could really start to move higher. So we're right at that last resistance line, and we're playing with it. I think if we get a good closing up around $4 plus, if we can work our way up here, I think that's going to be a pretty strong move to the upside afterwards, if we can break and hold up there. Lumber moving higher, up 1%, right at support. We've got iron ore that has broken to the upside here. I think I can't even read this because it's hard to read. It's somewhere over here. It's at 109, so it's like right here. So it has broken out. It looks good, and I think China reopening is definitely helping that. Nickel up 0.84%. Dailies, you can see it's right up there. Very hard to see. Here's the weeklies there, but this looks good to move higher. Big green army came in, small selling pressure. It looks good to continue on up. Aluminum up 0.5%. Again, I think aluminum's fantastic here. I'd be looking at companies, and I've got a couple of companies for you guys on the Platinum membership. I share that every time we talk about it at the question and answer session. Baltic Dry Index also moving higher. I think we're going to see the shipping companies start to take off, dry bulk shipping. I'll talk about that as well. And then Newcastle coal just grinding sideways at resistance. Our liquidity measures, I do think we are coiling up. Now, I do think by looking at this, we could potentially break to the downside here. We enter this coiling pattern from the upside down. I don't see any double bottom. I do think this could potentially head lower for Ethereum and Bitcoin because we've entered it from the top down, consolidation period, and then we could. Well, this is falling to some degree. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We got to get some more buying pressure over here. It doesn't look too bad from this point on. Doesn't look too bad. We'll see. We'll see where the buyers step in. If the buyers step in or if the sellers step in on those. And I don't have any money in it, so it doesn't. I don't watch it as much. But That's what I've got for today, guys. Oil looking really good. Energy service companies looking really good. We've seen some pretty big moves in the companies that I follow on the website and that are in my portfolio. Nice, good kind of bottoming patterns starting to form in some of them, bullish engulfings and whatnot. So that's looking good. A lot of commodities look good. The overall commodity index looks good. I think we got a good chance of rolling higher here. That's what I think. And when you look at all like delinquency rates and foreclosures and all that stuff, everything still looks good from that front too. So that's what I've got for today. And hopefully you guys are having a good day. Thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. And we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.